Pregame.com.
Welcome back, Pregame.tv, talking NFL teaser talk. No one wants to hear the math. RJ tells me all the time, math does not translate to videos. I'm going to be super fast with teasers. When you play two legs and you're getting an extra 6 points and you're laying $1.10, which you can still find in some places, that's like laying minus 260 on each individual leg, one after another. So it's like a minus 260 money line bet. Long story short, you got to pick up with those 6 extra points about it. You want to pick up like a 24% or more chance that it lands in that corridor of those 6 points you're picking up, or just bet the game straight if you like it. And so the key to pick that up is you want to play an NFL teaser where you pick up the numbers 3 through 7. You can lay an 8 down to a 2, 7.5 down to a 1.5, or you can take a dog +2 up to +8. That's the sweet spot through that key 3 to 7 corridor. I know Bryan Leonard has a teaser. I have a teaser this week, and I'm sure each one of us is going to be on a teaser that goes ahead and utilizes those points. Am I correct, Bryan?
That is correct. You want to cover 3, 4, 6, and 7, which are the key numbers in the NFL. And I do want to point out, a lot of people like to play college teasers. And I would recommend not to play college teasers. Jimmy Vaccaro's done radio shows where he said he could retire from people just playing college teasers. Just the variance is so high in college, and you don't have the key numbers. The only exception may be a game similar to what we did on the radio today, the Michigan State-Iowa game, where you've got a line of roughly 1.5, and you got a total in the 38 range. If you were going to play any college teaser, that one makes sense. And
that was the reason I like that is because when we did the radio earlier today, the line was Michigan State was getting 1.5. I knew it was headed to pick, or Michigan State to be a small favorite, and so I could basically tease a team I knew would be the favorite up to 7.5 on a very low total. Probably the poster child for why not to tease is look at that Fresno game where Fresno's up 42-3, and they can't cover their teaser in that game. And late in the third quarter, so much funny business happens. It's like the old joke is like you call your bookmaker at midnight and you text him, and then he says, "Why are you texting me?" And you say, "Well, I want to get down on a teaser." And it's like, "Call me back tomorrow. I'm not open." And then you say, "But I want to get down on a college football teaser." And there's a short pause, and he's like, "Let me get my glasses."
Yeah,
I'll go ahead and
That's
get
a good one.
I'll get down on that one. Absolutely. You have a couple teams you like in the NFL. Let's hear who you like.
Yeah, give me the sheet here because while you're talking, I forgot who we're playing, and I don't have my notes.
Right
yeah, Kansas City and Tennessee is the first side I'm going to look at. Since we started committed to these videos, the money continues to come in on Kansas City. There are actually some threes out there now, but
that's not true. It has pretty much been 2.75.
Okay, 2.75.
So 3 too high, 2.5 too low.
Okay, so we're looking at 2.5 basically. So you're taking that 2.5 on Tennessee. Up 6 points would be 8.5. So you're covering the key numbers 3, 4, 6, and 7 in a game that totaled, I believe it was 38.5 when I
opened 41 down to 39. Yes.
39,
so the key low total. We like those low totals.
Yep.
The lower, the better.
The lower total, well, that's variance you're going to have. In this game, we've got two teams that run the ball very well and defend the pass very well. Neither team really passes the ball excellent. So they're going to keep the ball on the ground. Tennessee's got a quarterback change. We've already seen what happens when he passes the football. So
Ryan Fitzpatrick's one of the most hated men in Buffalo.
But they're going to try to run the football. With the low totals telling you right there that the game plan is going to be run the football, don't pass it, don't have to worry about turnovers. Whoever turns the ball over is going to get in trouble. Don't turn the ball over, and we're getting that key numbers of 3, 4, 6, and 7.
And these teams have played very close to the numbers so far. They've had a lot of games. You'll think about the Cowboy game against Kansas City, where Kansas City laying 3, win by 1. Right there on the number. You think about the Tennessee-Houston game where they hang in there, lose by 3, actually by 6 at the end of overtime. Playing as long as they're not playing Jacksonville, playing close to the number. These teams have
very close to the number. I always look
or the
for that.
Giants, who are pathetic, and that game was close to the number until the fourth quarter.
But anytime you get a total of 41 or under in a game where I can cover key numbers, it's just an automatic play for me. And when you're playing teasers, people are looking to play a side and they want extra points. That's not how you play teasers. You're playing numbers. When you look at teasers, you're looking at games in which there's not going to be a lot of points. And we talked about it, 38.5, 39 points. Not expected to be a lot of points.
You want to be very confident that your bet isn't going to win if you bet it straight up, because if you're very confident, you would just bet it, but you're extremely confident it's going to win given the extra 6 points because you're going to have to win another game.
Correct.
And a good example of that one, moving on to your second leg, is you like Green Bay to go ahead and get the straight-up win against the up-and-coming Detroit Lions.
That's basically what we're looking for. Go back to the last decade. Detroit's a team who has not played well on the road. Lately, I believe they're 4-10 the last couple of years on the road, so they're a little bit better than what they have been the last decade. But you've got a very volatile team in Detroit. They play very well at home. They don't play as well on the road. You take a look at their penalties. They always one of those teams that tend to make a lot of mistakes. Coming off that big win over the Chicago Bears, blow them out. By the way, Chicago ends up covering the teaser at the end.
Another example of a good teaser, yes, with the miracle backdoor 2-point conversion.
Yep.
Right?
And it's a divisional game, which you kind of like those. But and then you got Green Bay, who not only is off of a loss that they should have won.
Phony loss.
Cincinnati.
Right.
They had the week off.
Angry.
They've dominated Detroit at home. They've beaten Detroit straight up the last 5 times. Wish I had my notes. But you go back over the last few years, they rarely lose at home. Maybe one time a season they will lose at home.
Right.
So they're very familiar with Detroit. And all you're asking for with the 6-point teaser is basically for Green Bay to win straight up at home.
But it wouldn't surprise us to see Green Bay up 11-13 end of the game. And in comes the prevent defense, and and Detroit's certainly a team that can score
definitely
when they're behind. And Detroit would want, if it's a close game, you think they'll find a way to lose. But if they're getting blown out, they could. There was a game like this last year. Detroit got annihilated in Chicago. They're down 13-0, and they came down. They got the score to lose 13-7, cover the teaser. Same thing. Remember that?
Being shut out all the way till the end of the game.
All the way to the very end of the game.
Yep.
They just got creamed the entire game and still got in there. I like both of these, although I have to say one thing we talked about. You want to go through the 3, through the 7. Here's a case here with a game that's lined 6.5 to 7 with Green Bay, but you're forecasting that money's going to come in and it's going to be a solid 7, maybe some 7.5s popping up at post, right?
Could be, and in fact, another way to play it, if this game does go to a solid 3 with the other teams that we're talking about, the Tennessee, is you could possibly play a 7-pointer and take it to 10, and a little bit different strategy. But at this point, we'll just go with the straight 8.5 on Tennessee, and we'll take Green Bay basically minus 1.
We're going to make it official in a second, and the key here is that when you're teasing Green Bay, you're basically getting them down to -0.5 from 6.5 right now if you can find a 6.5. So it's like laying 260 on that leg. If you played them on the money line, you'd have to lay like 330. So you're getting a huge discount by playing them in a teaser. So if you find you're playing a money line, any 7.5 point or 7-point NFL favorite, you're paying like way too much compared to just putting them in a teaser.
Yeah, and we're taping on Tuesday. The Monday Night Football game was last night. I was actually, while I was in Caesars cashing my tickets, they actually had Miami at plus 290 on the money line. So that was, as you pointed out, 260 would be the one side. You can actually, at that point,
I saw plus 320 at a few spots.
There you go.
So let's go ahead and make this one official.
All right, we're not teasing teams, we're teasing numbers here, and we are taking Tennessee plus the 8.5, 2.5 to the 8.5 through to 3, 4, 6, and 7. Green Bay just to win straight up at home, 6.5 down to 0.5. Just need to win the game straight up at home. That's our 2 plays. We've talked it out. These videos are getting very long, so we'll just go with that as our teaser.
I'm going to go ahead and shut it down. Then I think actually when we talked about when to tease these certainly makes sense. I think you got a winner there, and. Since we're already talking about teasers, one more teaser on the board. We won't have to go through the ugly math. I've got a team I'm going to tease on Monday night. I've been paying any attention. I already know who I'm going to play, but stay tuned. I'll tell you who to tease them potentially with. Pregame.tv.